So we've had the opportunity of working with so many great people, and a great friend of mine, Josh Holloway, is actually on this call. He's someone that actually, his wife, Paula, we went to school together starting in fifth grade. So we went fifth grade all the way through high school, graduated together. And I got a chance to get to know Josh via Zooms and via calls. We still haven't met in person. And it's so funny. I told myself I'm going to have to come to St. Louis. I said, if not, we're meeting in Cancun for sure. But it's amazing because his business has been growing like crazy. And I wanted him to share for just a couple minutes, if that's okay, because I want him to talk about a little bit of maybe about what's going on with him. And really, his business is growing like crazy too. He's got some phenomenal people. He's got some people on his team on here today, and we're going to be tying more and more people in because we really want to grow this meeting and grow the team faster than ever before. So once again, Josh is very, very successful. I don't know exactly his title. I keep on thinking he's like an executive director or something like that in his own company. So he was joking around when he became director of this company. He goes, I'm taking a step back. I said, no, actually, you're taking a step forward. So joke around, but he's got his territory covers multiple different states for the work that he does. But I want to introduce Josh and have him share for a couple minutes and talk a little bit about the success he's been having and what he's been doing, because it's all duplicatable, and he's signing people up every day. In fact, he's going to be signing somebody up in about a half an hour. So Josh, if you want to jump on real quick and just say hello real quick, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, super cool. Thanks, Greg. So I don't know if you guys can see it. I've got a little dot on the middle of my forehead there. So I did this on purpose. I went to the dermatologist and say, hey, can you burn me right there so I can show people how fast wound healing is? That's why I did that. So so Greg reached out to me 10 months ago, right? And it was weird because I just went to the doctor because I was having problems with my knee and my back, specifically my knee. So I'm like, I need to get stem cell injections. And so I went there and after doing an MRI and an X-ray on my knee, they said I would be a good candidate for it, and it was multiple $1,000s to do it. And then 2 weeks later, Greg reaches out of the blue, and he's like, hey, what do you know about stem cells? I'm like, what a weird question to ask somebody. And so we had a good conversation about it, and I trust him, and so my wife and I both said, hey, we'll give it a shot. So got it in the mail 2 weeks later. He told me his great story. 2-3 days later, he was fine. So I put it on, and for 2 weeks in a row, every day I'm hitting him up saying, this thing doesn't work. This thing doesn't work, because I'm not a wonder boy like you. And for me, it was the 2-week mark. I was downstairs working out, and my knee that's hurt for 4 years, all the pain completely went away. So it was awesome. I called Greg up, like, dude, this thing works. He's like, I know. He did tell me, he goes, Josh, there's a business related to this as well that you can help a lot of people. And I said, hard pass on you and your Amway business. I don't want to do any of this stuff. So because I didn't want to be that neighbor, right? I didn't want to go outside and be like, oh crap, Josh is coming with the Wonder Patches. So I didn't want to do that. So he one of the comments that he made to me is, once you see what happens to yourself, you're going to naturally want to share these with people. So I was an idiot, and I didn't share this with anybody for like 2.5, 3 months, right? Because I had to get more and more and more of my story going on first. That's where I'd kick myself for. So it was 3 months before I really started to share this, and I seen a couple other things happen for me. So yeah, I didn't want to build, and then after I seen this, I'm like, you know what? I need to share this with my brother. I need to share this with some people. And so I asked Greg, I'm like, how does this binary thing work? So he showed me how the website works. I'm like, what does this 50 people on the left mean? He goes, it means you haven't been working your business here, and we're building it around you. I'm like, that sucks. So I said, oh, I want to play. And it was a couple of days later, I'm sitting in a restaurant, right, just chilling, having a good time eating my food. And I have a buddy calls me up, and he goes, Josh, what you been up to? Hadn't talked to him in a couple months. And I said, we're just chit-chatting. I said, I'm doing this new stem cell activation patch. He goes, really? How does that work? I'm like, heck if I know. Here's a website. So I sent it to him. And so he calls me 3 hours later. He goes, this product is cool. Is there a business with this? I said, I think so. He goes, how's that work? I'm like, heck if I know. Here's Greg's number. So he signs him up as a diamond that night, right? And Greg was trying to convince me why I need to go diamond, not gold or silver. And I'm like, nobody's going to go diamond. That's just silly. And so I didn't go diamond. I went gold. And then my buddy Chris gets in. He goes diamond. I'm like, hey, it shows here I'm supposed to make $500. I'm like, where's the other $300? He goes, thank you. I'm like, what do you mean, thank you? He got that money. I'm like, that's a bunch of crap. So I updated the diamond that like 5 minutes later. So that didn't happen again. We put in 7 diamonds since then. So that's kind of been my story. And then after that, I just had the passion to share it as much as I possibly could. I have such a belief in this thing. And truly, it's not because my knee and my back don't hurt anymore. I've got a lot of other things that I've noticed, because it's like every 2 or 3 months, more and more stuff comes unveiled. But it's more the people that we've put into this organization. So personally, I think I've put in, it'll be 38 as of this evening when I put another person in personals. But I don't exactly know how many we've put in total as a group. But it's the thing that really drives me is their testimonies. What I'm hearing from them, including one that I'll share with you here in a minute that just came over a half hour before this call today. But yeah, I mean, it's helping everything. It's help. I mean, to help. I tell people it helps my credit score. It's probably not true, but if I could just give you guys a couple things that we're doing. I'm not this amazing guy. I'm not going to be on there saying, hey, I came in and went senior presidential director in 28 days. That's fine. I don't need to be that guy. But just from a consistency standpoint, I treated this. I tell this story a lot. I don't treat this as a sales position by any stretch of the imagination, right? I've done intermittent fasting for 2.5 years, and I've probably told 150, 200 people that I've done intermittent fasting and what it's done for me and how it kind of changed my world a little bit. And now I'm not hungry for breakfast, and how my a lot of different things changed. And so multiple people have done this as well with me, and they're telling me their stories, and we're sharing stories on how that works. That's been my approach, right? Hey, I've got this thing. This is what it's doing for me. This is what it's doing for my family, my team. Can I hear a little bit more about this? Sure. And so that's what it's. So it's about the product, right? Because it works. And I tell some people want to know about the science and all this garbage. I'm like, you can't have a product that goes from $20 million in sales to $400 million in sales in 3 years if this is a crap product. I'm just saying, somebody's going to call BS on that in a minute. So that's not the case. So it's don't be a salesperson. Just be a normal human and get out there and talk to your friends and just let them hear your passion about it. The other thing I would tell you, and Greg, I got to say this, and you'll agree that I abused you at the beginning, but don't let your upline sleep. Right, just abuse those people as much as you possibly can. It's their fault you're here. Right, it's their fault. Like me, I was having a good time. Right, I just got off vacation. I was up to date on all my Netflix shows. I was a semi-pro ping pong and racquetball player. Things were great, and then he interrupted my world with this. So I had to abuse him. And so I'm like, hey, what's your schedule today? What's your schedule today? What's your schedule? And I'm like, Zoom. So I'm throwing Zooms at him all the time. Awesome. Well, yeah, probably a month into this, he's like, and I got my feet up on the desk while he's doing a Zoom for me and my people. He's like, feel free to jump in anytime here, Josh. And so, and then I think we watched that, we watched Steve and Gina in February. And one of the things that they were talking about is if your upline is doing all your business, then it's your upline's business, not yours. And that hit me between the eye. I'm like, all right, Greg, I'm sorry. So I took charge of my business really that day, right? And so Greg called me up every once in a while. Can I help? Can I help? So he's, I can't tell you enough on what they've done for me and my growth in this business, and always available for us. Not just here's how to do this here, but I mean, praying with me, you name it. They're there to just really do all kinds of stuff for us. So love that. The other thing I would give you is be organized with this business. It's, I've talked to so many people that they're like, yeah, exactly. Right. There's so many people like, I called this person. I can't remember who I called. There's been so many people that I've talked to. They're like, hey, yeah, I'll get in the business because somebody else gave me patches and a business card. I don't know where, they haven't called me back or anything. So they're in my business. Right. So be organized and know who you talk to. So who you can follow up with is so big. Clearly, as you see on this call, if you're wanting to get some big fish and move fast, try to find some spiky-haired blonde guys, because that's clearly what's working out here. I mean, I just noticed that. Follow up. I know Ken talked about follow up is so key. Right, it's probably the most important, in my opinion, at least. I think the follow-up is more important than the first conversation with somebody. And I would say that as I looked at my list of people I've talked to, I've probably followed up with people 6 to 8 times before they get into a business. And there's so many people have a single conversation and they didn't get right in that night, and they're moving on or moving out. So you got to follow up with them. The other part is one of the things that I've seen great luck with is just filling up my calendar in advance. Not just, hey, I'm going to call this person, see if they're available. If not, okay, I'll try something else later. I'll look at my calendar for this week, next week, and the week after, and try to fill it, right? So then I'm living in my calendar for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then when somebody tells me they're too busy, then I just want to go fists with them. A couple more things, and then Ken, I'll give this back to you. One is, and Greg really taught me this, and I thought this was awesome, is, making sure that you give this business to God. And Greg and I have prayed so many times about this before, and it's one of the things that we've talked about, and I continue to do this with or without Greg at this point, is asking for divine appointments. And the cool thing is it's twofold. One, God provides divine appointments, but the other awesome part is that when you have somebody that says no, or they're not interested, or what kind of pyramid scheme is this, or it's not FDA approved, so I don't like that. I'll eat a chicken nugget instead that is FDA approved. Anyway, then what happens with that is that when you have somebody that says no, you don't care, right? Because the fact that that's not a God divine appointment for you. So that's okay, because why are you going to argue with that? Why are you going to get upset? Move on and call it a day. So I had speaking of that, I was at church 4 weeks ago, and I was on my way in there, and I was like, God, give me some divine appointments sometime today, not specifically at church. And I was in the restroom at the urinal, not to sound weird, but I was. And another guy stands up right next to me. I know him from church and all that. And he's like, hey, Josh, how you doing? I'm like, don't talk to me while I'm going to the bathroom. That's fine. And he said, I said, I'm doing good. How are you? He goes, I'm doing good. I'm just having such bad pain in my neck all the way down to my calf. He goes, I just wish I could get some relief from this. I'm like, well, it's on like Donkey Kong now. So I said, hey, we need to have a conversation after church today. I want to talk to you. So he goes, yeah, sure. So we had a 10-minute conversation, and we're playing phone tag for about a month. Finally got him on a Zoom a couple days ago, and he said, Josh, I don't want to have anything to do with the business. Don't even show me those slides, but I really like the idea of this product. He got the product in. I gave him mine today, right? And then this is the text from his name is Chad. He says, and again, he started today. He said, been noticing differences already. I've been known to be more sensitive to meds and tune into my mind and body. So unless it's all mental, it's been working very, very good. That video shows me people can notice it on the first day. So Greg, I finally got my one patch wonder. So pretty excited about him. And he tells me then, he goes, hey, that business that I told you I didn't want to do, I definitely want to do this because this thing works and I got to show some people. And so the last two things I'll give you is one, this is kind of how I look at both the patch and the business. One is for the patch, it's not if, but when it works, right? So the people that get into it for a week or a month and they're like, hey, this stuff is a bunch of horse crap, this doesn't really work. You got to at least put 3 months into this thing, at least, right? Because your body didn't go to crap in 10 days, right? So it's not going to turn around that same time. So it's not if, but when it works. And then also, where are you going to be in this organization? So I'm going to be a senior president or director. It's not if, it's 100% when. So I know for a fact that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And then my mantra for 2024 that I shared with Greg, he shared it with me is busting down the door in 2024.
Ooh, like it.